Illusion. Okay.
Hi everyone,
Hello. Good evening.
welcome to this episode of our very own podcast. Today we have a very hot topic.
Another
and
hot topic. Hot stories.
Yeah,
Very hot stories.
have shocking stories. No, I'm joking, but hey, it's nice to be here again. And
Yes.
basta.
Tonight's topic is the illusion of reality. It seems like one of my favorite topics.
Wonder why?
You find out soon. Well, we all perceive as reality differently, based on our emotional bodies. And the emotional bodies is
Oh, the emotional pain that we have stored in our body.
yeah.
Yeah.
And these emotional
They have memories.
they have memories, and they're the beliefs.
Yeah.
Uh,
They are the beliefs that we hold with your belief system.
yes.
Now, like, we all have beliefs. We all have, like, limiting beliefs. Like, for example, I have the limit belief that I'm beautiful. But this belief is good because it helps me. But if I were to have the belief that I'm ugly, that would be the kind of belief that would not help me, right? So I stick to the first one. But that's just example like that to show you all that we all hold beliefs, that everything that we believe are basically limited beliefs, and those beliefs, some of them, they serve us to our they serve us. When I say that they serve us, it's like they are there to help us with our own calling, with the big call that we have, our mission, our purpose into this life. And some of them, they does not help us. They actually stop us from getting closer to that true essence
Yes.
that we
Yeah.
have, that is called soul.
Yeah, because all of them have vibration, right?
Yeah.
Frequency. Those beliefs carry with them frequency.
Everything is frequency, right? So words
Yeah.
are frequency, thoughts are everything holds its own frequency. So
Yeah. So it's kind of you kind of have to become aware of when the emotions we get triggered, which is our wounds, and the stories that it's telling, and observe. It's kind of like trying to give a step back and see what the story is telling. And sometimes this storytelling has all the attachments, like all the if you keep asking like why, or investigating, you might find there is a deeper root
to it.
to
Because
it.
usually, like, I think how I see it is something happens. I think this is a way, giving you all example is a good way of explaining myself and how I see it. So something happens, let's say I broke Anna's camera. I did not break your camera, but let's say example like it's Anna's camera. I know that she is a photographer. She loves her camera. Like her camera is very close to her heart because as a creative person, she likes the camera very much. And she borrowed me because she's like, oh, you're gonna really look after it. And I accidentally broke it. And before telling Anna, hey, I broke your camera, I feel the body pain, the memories of a similar situation to that I broke someone else, either trust or I was told off very badly by my parents when I was very young because of something that I've done, therefore broke the trust. So that own case, like store emotion in some parts of my body, and every time that something similar to that situation happens that activated that memory pain, like all of the emotions come out. And those emotions, when they come out, they don't come out on its own. They come out accompanied by stories. And those stories are stories that your thoughts, your brain will be telling you. So by the time that I come to Anna to tell her, hey, I broke your camera, every single situation or past episodes similar to this one that I'm going to talk to her about it would have crossed my mind. But not only that, more to that, I would anticipate how would Anna behave. I would have like 3, 4, 5, 6, or even 100,000 scenarios of how Anna would respond to me about her camera that I have broke. And all of that would not be only here, would not be only my mind think, oh, she's gonna scream at me, or she's gonna say I'm very disappointed, or she's gonna say, how could you do that? Or man, I can't trust you anymore, I won't bore you anymore. So with all those thoughts, my body would be activating different places in different parts of my body, would be activated by showing different emotions, by activating different memory pains, because those storage things from the past would be triggered by this new event that is happening now.
Yeah,
That's the way that
and what happens a lot of the time is that when you get trapped on this emotional illusion story, you avoid telling the truth.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna create. Yeah,
that could happen.
And then I tell you, the way to break through is the truth. Like we might even hold the fear, like, oh, what? But breaking through, telling the truth, will help you break through the illusion. Because you might go like and create this whole story of the fear, and then you go like hiding, and then you go and buy other camera, the same one to replace. Let's say, but you're not really healing that.
Yeah.
You're just covering up that wound, because you're kind of like hiding, like lying, kind of in a way, right?
You lying.
You know,
you go, you buy another camera,
and
then you put like, hey Anna, this is your camera. She's like, oh, okay, thank you. Really took a very good care of it. Looks like new. And I'm like, amazing, right?
Or even could lie stories like someone broke, I don't know.
And then you were just like numb all that pain that your body would feel.
Yeah.
And by numbing all of that pain, you are creating another behavior, another like pattern, another. You're creating that loop of the repetitive cycle of, you know, when you sometimes like vive a situation like over and over again with different people, different scenario, different circumstances, but you know, I have lived this all the times, or I know this is happening again. That's because you are creating those repetitive.
You're creating stories.
Feeding them. You are feeding those repetitive, like emotional behaviors. So you keep creating more and more and more of the same.
Yeah, it's almost like putting another bandage on top of your wound, because you're just creating a new story to cover that, and then you might something happen again. You might create another story, so you put it instead of like going straight to the truth, accept. It's kind of taking ownership for what happened on the situation. Accountability, yeah. That's what love does. Take accountability for the actions, and so that's like healing. That's the deep healing. So then you don't keep repeating the same, relieving the same pain, because eventually you're gonna attract again, and
the same thing. And it's funny because like we all have like those repetitive behaviors, and when we stop to track them, you see that they start again, like back on the early ages, like around the age of 4 years old, 5 years old, and then you see yourself like growing, repeating the same behavior. But it's amazing when we stop to track them and see when they started, and you see that they started on a very young age, and sometimes they started because was the only way that you found it to protect yourself, not to be told off by your parents.
You lie, or blame someone else. That's
and that's how you wire your brain, and then you become like an adult with your brain wired like that, and to unwire that
Processing your emotions, take a step, and feeling, and kind of observing, step back and be like, what is the truth? What is the reality actually? It's the effects. I find that healing is a lot of like working on the effects without the conflict of the story, because our mind is a master in storytelling, according to Eckhart Tolle, and I agree. Because I notice, like, when I get triggered in a situation, I observe the emotion. Straight away, it's like already thinking what to say. What it was like, oh my, this could happen. What can I do? It's kind of like a way to protect. It's already like foreseeing the future on a way to protect. Oh, but if I do that, if this happen, I can do that. And it's like, it's amazing how our mind works to protect us from the pain. But that is living in fear based, right? Because you never know what's gonna happen. You can't control what other people are gonna do, or we can only control ourselves. So at least most of the time, trying to.
Or not.
Yeah, sometimes emotions comes and it's not very easy, but we do healing and work to keep it fresh. Not reliving the same story, but creating new ones. So the moment you realize you're not your mind, you begin to awaken. It's realizing that you're not the story that your mind is telling, that person, that a bad person, or horrible, or like.
I think there are also like different examples of illustrating like this world of illusion, which it is like, for example, like let's say like we both had an argument, like we had a fight. That you perceive the fight according to your own perspective, your beliefs, and again, like those beliefs, they are since a very young age, right?
Exactly,
Anna's beliefs will be based on the way that she was raised, the society that she lived, like by her parents' layers of belief, by her grandparents' way of belief, by the neighbors where she lived. So everything will form into her own beliefs.
Yeah.
So there you have a completely different, like one parent stand on her own with her own system belief, and then here you have me, totally the opposite, like because I was raised by different parents, I grew up in a different neighborhood, I came from different like background with grandparents, so I have my own system belief as well, so completely different from Anna. Then we have an argument. She'll see things from a different perspective than I will see. So she will have her truth and she will stand by her truth. I will have my truth and I will stand by my truth. And then there is the truth itself.
Which we don't know.
Which we don't know.
Yeah,
which true it is, because our perspective is totally different.
Yeah, it happened this week. I was talking to her, like I was telling her my perspective, thinking that she was judging, because the way she was writing, I was perceiving that she was judging what I did, when she was actually just telling her perspective of the situation. But I perceive as a judgment, because that emotion I had at that time, it was a judgment emotion.
So that was her truth, because it was nothing less than her truth. That was her truth.
Yes.
And then I was expressing my truth, and there is another truth, which the truth that is neutral, that is seen by the all, by the universe, or whatever name you want to give it. And then none of us has access at this truth, because we are holding the truth with our own perspective, the truth that we believe they are the truth with our own perspective. Yes. So this is the biggest example to me here. So if I have to illustrate it, what's the word of the illusion? This is a good example, because when you're having like a conversation with someone, you will perceive the subject of that conversation, you perceive according with your own, with your own beliefs, with your own way of perceiving situations. Like now, I know that some people's gonna say, "Oh, that's not entirely true," because sometimes I'm talking to the people, and it's a specific subject or not, and I'm able to agree with them, yes, you are, but you're still holding your own line of perspective
Yeah.
in that agreement. You know, like you are still seeing things from your own perspective. You are not completely like, and I do know that some people might do that, but when you do that, that's a different thing. That I yeah, but some people, they might be like completely deny or completely not have confidence on their own beliefs, and that's when they strongly like, oh yeah, whatever you say I will take as my truth. But that's something completely different, right? But the situation, it is like that two different souls with different perspective, they will each hold their own belief.
Correct.
They might agree on the subject, but even though if they agree or disagree, they still holds their own line of perspective.
Yeah, it's very limited. A bit of, I guess, learning to know what is the facts and what the mind storytelling, you know, like, because the mind likes to confit around and then maybe say like, oh, start to create this whole emotional scenario around the person, right? Because then you say, maybe that person, maybe give someone to do a job or to do a scanning, and she didn't do the scanning now, she did later. It can create a story. That person didn't do.
I mean, you know what I see it? They always created like, I see like that in a office environment, or even an environment that you are immersed, like in a group, in a social group. I don't know if I'm interested, like something interesting just came to my mind, which is that book Homo Sapiens. It's a very good book. It's a very interesting book that he's talking about like the evolving of humanity, you know, like, and then he goes like to say that one gospel can hold like a community together, talking about that gospel about that gospel like for 100 years or whatever. I can't remember now because I read this book like a while ago, but he says like how a community, like a gospel, like can keep people talking about it like for times and
the
times
energy
and
feeling.
times. Yes. And when you look at society, like people just love talk about other people, and what gets me into that, I mean, today, when I say today, I say like now at this moment in my life, I have the awareness to recognize that, but to recognize that in a sense that I step away, because but it is not only that. It's just because I know that when a situation like that is happening, has a lot more to do with the emotions of the person or the people who are talking about than to the person itself.
Yeah, and sometimes I try to introduce a new perspective, right? Like I see sometimes on the site, people start talking about something that happens they start to trying to talk bad about the situation, and I'm like, oh, but it could be this, it could be that, you know, like, you know, so you kind of like introduce that isn't not only what you're seeing, it could be, you know, many things.
Yeah, I can recall myself doing that in the past as well, and I realized that doesn't work though. Doesn't work because, I mean, on my perspective, again, which doesn't mean that is the truth, but with me, on my experiences, like I see that doesn't work, because the person there, when that person is talking about someone else or creating the gossip, she or he is so caught up on the emotions that they are carrying inside, so caught up like on that storytelling that they are telling, you know, that nothing that anyone from the outside say that is opposite to what he or she is saying will getting. And then if you have all the people agreeing with that person, they become a nuclear, like a nuclear of people telling the same story, and all the
Ah.
emotions there are being fed. And the
It's
poor
amazing.
guy or the poor girl that he's being like talking about, you know, it's just there having all the camp energetic like camp
Yeah.
all affected by other people. So
You can try to be the light of the situation, but if it doesn't work, you just step out.
Yeah, I
You know,
just- it's just
sometimes I do because when I see that it could create a new opportunity for improvement, getting something to somewhere. Yes, but if it is to kind of like personal stuff, then no. If it's related to personal life, then no. But if it is related to work, where it shows other perspective to help,
yeah.
then I do it.
It's fun that this situation just remind me that a few years ago I remember that I in this group of friends, like, because I have like a group of friends that every time that was two different groups of friends, every time that someone would talk about someone else, oh no, every time that I had opportunity of hang out or be in the same environment with other people, I would be very content. I would not talk or not say anything. And then on the other group of friends, they were like, oh, how was it? I was like, I don't want to because I know that they talk about other people and I don't want to be. And this friend asked me, but everyone talk about like other people, you know, and now when you ask about them, it's basically like talk about them. And I was like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like even when you ask about the other people, when you ask, oh, did you see that person? You're talking about them. But took me a while to realize that it's the intention behind it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the intention. Because for example, like Anne and I have like common friends, and I could look to them and it's like, hey, how is Deborah? For example, I could say, hey, how is Deborah? But it's the intention behind it. I could genuinely want to know how is Deborah doing.
Or you want to know
You
to
know?
gossip about.
Or I could be like, hey, how is Deborah? You know, like Deborah, like don't take wrong if you're watching it.
Yeah, it
But
is
it's
all
like it's the
intention.
intention that you put behind. I could be like, I don't know, like simple like Fernanda. I do have a friend called Fernanda, so I have to be careful. I could be like, hey, Rana, you see Fernanda, she's not doing very well because this and that, and start, you know, like with this telling that would be like very like taking her to a very like low vibration, you know. Or I could be like, oh man, did you see Fernanda? Such amazing news that she did this or this or that. So it's the intention that you put behind. And that took me a while to learn because after my friend said, but we all talk about people in a certain way.
A certain way,
It got me very uncomfortable. And then from that moment, I would avoid. I was like, I don't want to talk about anyone. And then sometimes people would ask me, hey, how is Chris? And I would be like, I don't know, he's doing well. Because I would be like, I don't want to be talking about people, you know. But then as time went by and more work I was doing, I realized it's the intention that you put behind.
Intention. Like if your intention is to,
if it's coming from a place of love, but a place of like you genuinely love for that person, you know, even if it's someone that you know that is not doing so well, and you know that the older friend knows, now like you go and ask, you know, hey, how is Marisa, you know, Marisa, is she doing okay? Because I heard she's not doing very well. And then your friend like, oh, she's not really doing well. Maybe give her a call, go visit her. It's the intention, you know. Show her a little bit of love, you know.
Because at the end of the day, like, we are responsible for what we are saying, but how the other person is gonna perceive, we're not. Because the other person might perceive the negativity why we asking, you know. Maybe you're asking because you want to know about the person, but maybe the person is perceiving like, oh, she wants to bad things, you know, like you don't know how the other person. So it's all you're responsible for your own emotions, your own intentions, but what other people, how they're gonna receive, you don't know. So if you trust that your intentions are good, then fine. But there is a comment here that I found the we are the awareness. That's who we truly are. We are the we are here experiencing, right? We are not the emotions. A lot of people think they're the emotions, which is the clouds just passing by. So we are like heard once it says we are the sky,
Mm.
and our emotions are the clouds. And the clouds are very dramatic.
Let's begin.
And the clouds can be very dramatic.
Very dramatic.
Yes. What was it the other day? I'm messaging you, crying about it, and then at the same time, I was like, I must really like dramas. At the moment that I admitted to myself that I like dramas, it like I stopped crying. I was like, oh my god, because again, we. Why are you looking at the phone?
Just getting some insights.
Wow, can't believe I just seen this.
A multitask.
No, multitask is bullshit.
It's multitask. I can't listen to you, go.
No, this is rude.
No, a lot of podcasters like they have even the iPad. When you gonna get an iPad? Raimana, like just get an
Anyhow, so I was coming back to the topic that's important, not no, that's we like in Brazil we have a lot of like soap opera, right? We were talking
Soap
about the
opera,
other day, and they're very like.
By the way, the Turkish ones.
Maria do Bairro, Maria
Yeah.
do Bairro.
Those are the Mexican ones.
So, can you imagine you grow up watching dramas? You learn, right? You learn all the behaviors. You learn all the stories, and this is the layers and layers that we have within us. And
Yeah, I think like I know where you're getting because we had this conversation this week about like how those telenovelas like they wire your brain, you know, you basically like they cheat you unconsciously
yes.
that is the way of love, that's the way that you should behave if you want to be like the good girl, the protagonist like of your own story. You know, how do you say protagonist in English? Because I said in Portuguese, I just realized after I said it. They want to have like the main character, you are the main character, you know, of the whatever storytelling that you are like controlling, you know, that you're manifesting. You want to be like the main character, or that you want to be no one wants to be the villain, but we always want to point a finger to someone else to say that person is the villain, right? So on your storytelling, you're like the good guys, but someone else is the villain, you know. And all of that comes from layers of 30 years plus of watching like soap operas, because you are educated in an unconscious level to think that relationships, those are real forms of relationships, and we replicate that on our daily,
we do
on our real life.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed, like as the emotion comes, I feel like I'm a different personality every time. Sometimes the victim, sometimes when you're in a drama, sometimes you want to be the judge, the one that wants to attack, the one that wants to protect, the superhero. If you notice, if it comes the emotions, that every time it comes, it's almost like you become that. And as an observer, like that's why I think we do a lot of the healing work to forgive and let it go and start to learn that sometimes we're gonna say things that are gonna hurt others. Sometimes, you know, we're not always gonna be good, and accept that sometimes you're gonna have bad days, you know, because it has layers and layers of things you learn. Learn how to protect yourself, or learn to behave certain ways to gain something, or you know, it does happen sometimes. And even if you say you're conscious or.
But I do think that like those in country like ours, and I would even take the risk to say like South America, or yeah, I think like South America, where even Central America, where the soap operas, like they have like a very strong influence like on the
Yes.
people's behavior.
Yeah.
Like it's we are very like strongly like influenced like influenced by those telenovela. Like it's top nation. It's like the World Football Cup. People is stop like the country stop to watch it. Like the last episode of like the favorite TV show, or at a time like because they are live on the popular on the open TV at a specific times. So there is a big like a large group of the population that will stop to watch that 6 p.m. one, and then a second large of the population that will join the first one to watch the 7 p.m. one, and then the whole nation stop to watch at the 9 o'clock one. And all of that, like people need to find, they see themselves, they start to dress up like the characters that they like more, they start to speak like the character that they like more, then they start to behave like the character that they like more, and that becomes part of the society. The society just like absorbs that, and that become the society.
Even their own relationship is almost like a soap opera. Like I tell you, sometimes the dramas I hear back home, it's like, are you guys not Globe? Because Globe is the main TV channel there. Are you guys not global soap operas? Because you can hear the
and then with that there are also the reality shows, you know, and it is like I don't think it's only South America. I can see like there a lot of part of the words that you really like consume like reality shows, and all of that it's an internal reflection. Because we are like absorbed, we're so interested, like, oh, I love that kind of thing, because it's expressing what we have in the inside.
So you become an actress or the actor.
And that's like when it comes to this word of illusion, how to translate that, how to connect that to the word of the illusion, is that a part of you inside of you is resonating to what's happening there. You know, and your mind is there telling the story, and while you're watching, like your body memories like are being activated. There you identify yourself.
The identification, that's the illusion,
you know. And by identify yourself with what you're watching, what you're seeing,
or even with your own behaviors, because sometimes we tend to identify ourselves as like I'm a bad person because I said that, or something. Then it causes all that suffering and thing because you identify with that thing that you said, because you learned a level somewhere that it wasn't a good behavior. Then you start to punish yourself within because you said that, like it created a story again in your mind. And I feel like one of comments of Eckhart Tolle or with Deepak Chopra that says like the word is not like to make you happy, but to make you more conscious, right? So every time you go through like a suffering or a pain, it's kind of a way to show you to learn to be more aware.
I think and that's where we go back like to in our last episode of this podcast, we were talking about this connection, right, with your inner self, with your soul, whatever, however you want to name it. And I think that's this on the back of this comment that Anna just made. I think that knowing yourself make all the difference. Like when you get to know yourself, when you really investigate who you are, and I'll tell you, there are parts of it that you're not gonna like it, because there are parts of it that you even gonna judge yourself.
And you need to learn to love yourself.
And then you're not gonna like it. You're gonna want to deny. We're gonna start to reject that part of you.
It doesn't work. You have to embrace
go and embrace everything, because more you know yourself, more you know like your light and your shadow, more chances you have of being happy in this life.
Yeah, you feel it's like a complete, right? You start to feel complete there, because like it's not all the time you're gonna be good. There will be times that you're gonna be bad, and then it's like accepting both, or
And it's
cling.
knowing how to use
Yeah.
both sides, because in this journey here, you gotta be able to use both sides. You gotta be able to get your shadows and turn that into light in the moments that you need to use your shadows, and then get your lights and use in the moments that you are living a shadow moment. It's how to use both.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good point. And yeah, because one of the books I read from Don Miguel Ruiz is that as a domesticated, like the humans is like humans are domesticated like we domesticated animals, like because it is, if you think about it, you go to school a certain time, and then you have the church, and then you have like the episodes you watch in the evenings. They're like repetitive behaviors that you have. It is subconscious, and 95 to 98% we are driven by our subconscious mind. Only 5% is our conscious mind. So conscious mind is like it's kind of observing everything, but your reactions, your behaviors, your way of thinking about situations is all that you learn. It is on the subconscious mind.
It is all unconscious, because you just living according to the society rules, and by that you absorb a lot of unconscious stuff that is just like that. Ask yourself, like, what example? I know this example that I'm gonna give now, it's a little bit polemic, but I'll give, like, ask yourself, like, why did you go to uni, for example?
Exactly.
Like, and I know I went to uni too. But it's like, just ask yourself, like, this simple question, like, why did you go to uni? Or even go a little bit like further than that and say, like, why when you were in high school you were really like worried about, I have to go to uni. Like, it's because of the pressure. And I do understand we live in society, so we do need to do whatever we need to do to live in society and to make the best of, or the most of it while we live here. I do understand that. I'm on board with you, because I do that too. But there are things that we do just because we are so part of the automatic of why you mean to be, because that's like the society. There's so much stuff like that we do, that we get to that side and then we realize that we are not happy by doing all of those things, but that we are doing just because we are supposed to.
Yeah, and but like when we start to do investigation, right, like you mentioned about the university, you get to the bottom of it, which is fear-based. When you transform there to love, like, because you learn and then you do the healing, you still do the university, but you do the place for joy. You do for, so it's a different perspective. So you just, that's what I love about the inner work and healing, because you work that you are aware of your behaviors, you become aware of your motivations, but you don't now use fear as your main. So you're not stressed. You're not like,
you don't let like fear lead your decision making, and I think that's important thing, because because like Hannah said, you still go to university, you still do the things that you want to do, but the emotion, like the emotion that is like leading
the driver
is not fear. It's love.
It's conscious. It's aware.
And then you know what to choose. So then when you go to university, like, and you say, I will do social communication, because you love. You're not doing social communication because your father did social communication.
Or because you want to like please someone, or because you want to.
And it's the more common, like some people like, oh, my father is like a lawyer, so I had to do law because my father. No, like you're like, I'm gonna go to uni too, and what I'm gonna do? Well, I'm gonna do journalism because that's what I love it. So your choice is, you are so much more aware that your choice comes from a conscious level,
and you end up in like joy, doing for joy, for fun. It says like you become the dream master, because you're not then driven by the emotions, but the fear you do like
of missing
you're
out,
creating,
of disappointing,
yes, of fear,
disappoint the people that you love,
fear
you know,
to be a
of
loser.
not being good enough.
Yeah.
Like all of those things, like all of those emotions and thoughts, they are
Yes,
fear-based.
correct. So that's the change in perspective, right? Because we still do our things daily, but it's just on a different
But it's from a different like
and intention
point.
as well.
Yeah.
It's different intention. So yeah, because we talk about it like on a quantum level, it's all energy, right? So it's how you're vibrating. And then we tend like when it comes to the fear base, it's almost like everything is outside you that you have to reach. But when you come for a love base, you are complete, you're full, you're just enjoying that process. So it's that you're not in a place of lack where you just wanted to reach somewhere. So everything is separated from you. So you think, oh, if I get the job, I'll be successful. Then you feel like you're not successful, you're like lacking. So when you investigate and you do your inner work, you already feel that you're already successful who you are. If you get there, fine. But if you don't, it doesn't matter because you already feel complete.
The point is like with the examples, you go like, I don't need that job. You go from I need that job to be successful to I'm already successful. Now I need to find the right job to match it.
Yeah.
Or I need to find the job that I'm gonna be there. Yeah, because you attracted the job that you will do it, but you do it like from a place of love.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna do from a place of obligation because you need that salary or because you need You're gonna do from that, and that's like combine like all what it is that you call success.
Yeah, and I tell you, like it's not only one working and all perfect. No, there's lazy, and there will be time where the ego is gonna try to search something to make you feel that you are lacking, others through relationship or friendship or money, or because there's many
there's always something.
Yeah, there's always something to work. But when you become aware that you're always gonna have challenges in your life, but you know how your mind, like how the ego works, is already like a big step of bringing awareness, and you start to have your life like more complete and more acceptance and peaceful and joyful. You kind of like transmute the energy, lacking energy faster, but you know, and don't keep on the same issue all like for a long time. Because before I could go on with complaining about the same thing for the whole week. Nowadays it's completely like it's fascinating. It's amazing. So I say, don't fight illusion, transcend it. It's like every emotion or event that triggers us is opportunity to rise in consciousness. Instead of reacting, we observe. Instead of controlling, we surrender. So
there is a because we are like constantly like reprogramming, rewiring our brain, right? So in a situation like that, like when you're in a situation that is so like stressful that you are very close to that point of breaking down on some form of way, you can always stop and ask yourself what this situation is trying to teach me, or what is the good in this situation. Ask yourself like 3 times out loud if you need it, or if you it's not the environment that you can ask yourself out loud. Ask yourself like deep inside, what's the situation is trying, what is good in this situation that I need to see, what is the good in this situation. And if you keep telling that to yourself like a few times, your brain will start to scan through the situation to show you the good side of the situations that because of your fear in that moment you'll not be able to see it. And that's just a proof of how we see everything we see from the perspective of our brain, of the awareness of our brain, because you're so used to see things in a way, and you're gonna be keeping seeing on that way until you start to questioning it.
Yeah, exactly.
or until we start to unwire it. So I think that in situations of conflict, instead of like avoid or like embrace it, and then ask yourself in an imperative way, or or command way, say, show me what's the good in the situation. Show me what's the good in the situation. So, and you have to say in a way that you can feel it, because your brain will do the work. Your brain will start to scan to show you the goods.
Yeah, show me a perspective of love.
Yeah.
I did that for a while when I was in a like moments was like show me a perspective of love.
Yeah.
And then if you show and connect with your body and then just wait a few seconds, it's just like we'll show another perspective.
We will start to
expand.
frame.
But that's
and then in a situation that you could see like all negative, you're gonna find like 1, 2, 3, or even 4 things to focus like on the good side, and that will shift the memories in your body, because it won't be feeding anymore.
Yeah. You know? But it's again like it's a time that you take with yourself to reflect and like really want to change, because like we can't change the like the other people, like the change needs to come from you wanting to change, you wanting to see differently, you want to perceive your life as differently, because
it's like everyday reprogramming. Right? Things does not happen overnight. Like it's a long time work, because there's so many beliefs that we have.
But it does it becomes lighter and lighter, like the way you perceive it. Like you start to
get to a point that sometimes you're like, I could care less.
Yeah, sometimes you get there, and then it's like it really be like, okay, it's up to me how I'm gonna live a life. If it's like rather stay here crying, complaining, or gonna go and fun, have a joyful moments with your friends, or go out and do something you enjoy. So you start to become more aware of what is worth spending your energy on. And for me, that's like, well, one thing I read the other day, and I even posted, each day this is the youngest we're ever gonna be. Every minute that passes, every second that passes, this is the youngest. So in a sense of like, we're gonna die, right? So we want to make the most of the experience here, and how you want to make it. That's a question for you to answer, right? Everyone wants to live differently. But knowing that it is like playing a role in a movie, but knowing it's a movie, it's like a experience that you living, and it will end like every movie. Don't mistake this story for who you truly are. It's what else? You are the artist of your life. Create your masterpiece. That's the last message, right? Because at the end, whatever you are experiencing, even if you're trying to tell people the story of your life, is going to be very limited, right?
Yeah, because they're not going to receive it as the same way that you are trying to send. Yeah. And that's a good one, especially for people that are unconscious and like people pleasing, or for people that want so badly like to be like it. It's a prison, right? And I understand it's such a prison, because sometimes like all you want to do is being like it, and you want to be like
you
it.
Act a certain way, the thinking that it's gonna be liked, but at the end of the other side, people don't even know what you're doing. It's like
it's to be like it. They just might simply find you annoying, or find you fake, or find you.
You never know that people thinking or feeling, So it's really breaking through this. The story of your own mind.
And
question.
Breaking through the story of your mind better being truth and honest to yourself.
Exactly.
If there is a truth that you need to hold on to and not let it go,